the boys during the holidays, they go home, and then the winter holidays, boys had gone home, and Swami, like a mother, used to be worried when the students go home. He said, why? Because one thing is, they're not with Swami. He loved the students so much. So the pangs of separation, apparent pangs of separation for the God, and also the greater worry for Swami was what all they will do in the holidays time. What all they will do in the holidays time. He openly used to tell us. But then, students as they are, they should go and then be with their parents during the holidays time. So we boys had come back from the vacation. Swami used to go around and ask them, what have you done? And then what are the things, any important things happened and all that. So very intimately. He used to come down to their level so that he can interact and then share and shower his love on them. So one student, a new student, was very devoted. And then he was very, very excited when he was going home, because he said, no, what all I have learned about Swami, I will share with my friends. That's what he thought. So when he went home, all his relatives came, and his relatives were not believers of Swami. And then, so this boy, with so much of enthusiasm, he was telling, this Swami is this, and Swami has done this to me and all that. Those people simply put him down. And then this boy got a shock. He said, however much he was trying to convince about Swami's divinity and Swami's, the love which he received, they were not convinced. He said, you are a fool to have gone to Puttaparthi, and then you are transformed, and then you are useless. And this made him very, very sad. When he came back, he told this to Swami. Beautiful. Very, very innocently. Swami asked, what did you do in the house? Then he could not, he started crying. He said, Swami, all my relatives, his nephews, really, irritated him. He said, Swami, like this, they never believed whatever I said. Swami, seeing that sincerity in that boy, in the veranda, just gave a beautiful tips, which I thought it would be of some interest to all of us. He says, how should we tell about Bhagavan? And then, especially when they're atheists, when they're non-believers, I think it will be of interest to us, isn't it? So, he said, don't worry, you do not have to spread my glory. Such a simple way he said, you don't have to spread my glory. I know how to spread. If your own faith is shaky, how can you pass on that to somebody else? How can you instill faith in others? And then Swami went on to explain. He said, in our culture, there is a apatrita dana. Means, even for you to receive something from elders, you should have deservedness. Patrita. Vidya dadati vinayam vinayat yati patritam. Patritva dhanamapnoti dana dharmam tatasukam. Swami tells. Vidya danati vinayam. Vidya confers humility. Vinayat yati patritam. From vinaya you get patrita, deservedness. Deservedness for what? Patritva dhanamapnoti, for earning money and for being happy in this world, in the world outside, in the other world. So he says, deservedness is very important. When somebody comes and talks to you and then tries to find out about the institute or about Swami, yes, you can tell them. But remember, he should have the deservedness. You should be able to assess whether he is genuinely interested in knowing about Swami or not. Otherwise, he said, you are only, and Swami gave such a beautiful example. Even now it's, I think of it, it's a very wonderful example. He says, it is like suspecting whether a pilot is there or not in a flying plane. A person is on the ground and he sees a plane flying and suspect whether plane, of course, that time no automatic, we still have not, it's only Google cars, but Google planes have not yet come, I suppose. But so suspecting whether pilot is there or not in a plane is foolishness. And Swami says, if you have to really know whether a pilot is there or not, two things can happen. Either you have to go to that level to find out and see through the window whether the pilot is there or not, or otherwise know when the plane lands. See how beautifully Swami said. So, the God who is a pilot of our life, when he comes down, utilize him. Or raise yourself to that higher level to know that you can see the pilot because you are also at that level. Beautiful way in which he says, so if somebody asks about Swami or about this one, he was telling the students, he said, you don't have to be over enthusiastic. Let your actions speak. Let your character speak. Let your behavior speak. Let your manners speak. Swami says, Swami defined boy. A boy is one who has a good behavior. A man is one who has good manners. That is the definition of Swami for boy and a man. So, Swami says, when you are in doubt, the boy was still having that, he was happy that he received this instruction. He still have Swami. How do I judge? Because I am a small fellow. And the person who is asking may be a very big shot. How do I judge him? Very sincere question. Swami said, again, another beautiful lesson for all of us. Learn to call on me. Learn to call on me when you are in doubt. That is the training which each of us have to develop. Learn to rely on God when we require. Because we belong to Him and He belongs to us. That is a training which we need to give to our mind, our intellect, our faculties, these five senses, so that when in doubt, we not only turn to Google, but also to God.